Hello children, hope you guys are fine and are staying safe at home. So welcome to the online class. As I have already discussed in the first session of this class. So I hope you guys remember what I have discussed in the first class, which is about heat, that is about temperature. So now before I start the second part of this chapter, I'd like to conduct a small okay. I know you guys are not with me now currently, but I just want you to just observe these questions and try to find out the answer on your own. Okay, so just try to give a guess on what you have already learned in the previous class. Okay, so the first question is the hotness of an object is determined by its dash. So I'll repeat the question again. The hotness of an object is determined by its dash. Option A temperature, option B melting, option C freezing, option D none of the above. So shall we find out the answer now? So what do you think? Is it melting? No, is it not freezing? It is not none of the above. So what it could be? Is it temperature or melting? Okay, so the answer is actually not melting, it's the temperature. So the hotness of any object, as I said already, whether an object is hot or a cold, so we can easily determine by the concept of temperature. So temperature is something which tells you how much hot an object is and how much cold an object is, right? Okay. Now second question is like a fill in the blanks. Temperature of a boiling water cannot be measured by a dash thermometer. So last class, I hope you guys remember about one specific thermometer which I discussed. What was it? Yeah, it is nothing but clinical thermometer. So clinical thermometer, what is its use? It is only used to measure the body temperature. You cannot use clinical thermometer to measure the temperature of a boiling water, right? So the temperature of a boiling water cannot be measured by using clinical thermometer. And the third question is temperature is measured in temperature is measured in degree dash. So what is the unit we use to measure the temperature? So we usually use which unit? Celsius, right? So any temperature if you take by default, we measure it using degree Celsius. Okay, fantastic. So a quick recap of what we have discussed in our previous class. Okay, we discussed about the definition of temperature. So what is the temperature? So a reliable measure of the hotness of an object is its temperature. So we measure a hotness or a cold, whether an object is hot or a cold, by using what? By using a phenomenon called temperature. Now, which thermometer we are using to measure body temperature? So the thermometer that measures our body temperature is called clinical thermometer. I hope you guys remember when I discussed about the clinical thermometer. So I showed a photo also how a clinical thermometer looks, and I hope I gave one activity as well as a homework for you. So if you guys remember that, try to recall it. Okay. Then the third one. So any clinical thermometer if you take, it reads temperature from 35 degree to 42 degrees Celsius only. Okay, so it has got a specific range, that is 35 degree to 42 degrees Celsius. Why? Because a normal human body temperature ranges from 35 degree to 42 degree only. It cannot go below 35 and it cannot raise above 42. Okay, so we have not added any other temperature range. That's the reason why for easy measurement, what is the actual reading which is given in the clinical thermometer? It starts from 35 degree to 42 degree. Okay, so always keep this in mind. To the second part of today's class, that is from the chapter heat. Okay. So in this class, we are going to learn about laboratory thermometer. So as I discussed in the previous class that there are a few other thermometers which is available to measure the temperature of different objects. As in the previous class I discussed only about clinical thermometer. So clinical thermometer is used to measure only the body temperature of a person. You cannot use clinical thermometer to measure the temperature of any object, like if you have boiling water or if you have ice kept. Okay, so you cannot measure the temperature of ice cube or a boiling water using clinical thermometer. So for that purpose only we have another thermometer, special thermometer called laboratory thermometer. So at the end of this lesson you guys will be able to learn about the functions and the uses of laboratory thermometer. So how a lab thermometer, in short we can say it as lab thermometer or laboratory thermometer. So how it works, okay, and how we can determine the temperature using laboratory thermometer, that we are going to learn in today's class. Okay, so shall we move on to the lesson, children? Yeah. What is the laboratory thermometer? How do we measure the temperature of other objects? So this is the main question which you guys need to understand. Okay, so in the previous class we came to know how to measure the body temperature. Now in this class let's find out how to measure the temperature of other objects. It can be any object. Okay, so we measure the temperature of other objects using a special thermometer. So for this purpose there are other thermometers. So one such thermometer is known as the laboratory thermometer. So this is how a typical laboratory thermometer looks like. So it comes in different variants, all belongs to laboratory thermometer only. Okay, but it comes in different variants with different temperature range. So depending upon our need, okay, what type of object we are measuring, so we can select a laboratory thermometer. Okay, so I'll show you a few more slides with clear visibility of this thermometer. I have just taken few samples of this. Now the range of laboratory thermometer is from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So as I said, every thermometer must have a range, right? So a clinical thermometer had a specific range. Okay, so from 35 degree to 42 degree only. Why? Because our body temperature ranges only from that particular range of values. But for a common object like water, if you take, okay, so if I keep the water in a place where it is too hot, like mostly in a desert region, if I go and place a water, the water range may go up to 100 degree or above 100 degree. Or if I keep the water in a stove, okay, boiling stove, I mean in a stove, and I just boil the water. So when I boil the water's temperature may raise above 100 degree. So to measure that, I require a thermometer which can read me above 100 degree as well, right? Similarly, if I keep the same water, if I take it to any region like polar region like Antarctica or Kashmir or Himalayan ranges, if I take the same water, there the temperature will be too less, right? There it will be like freezing cold temperature, which will go below 0 degree. So it will go in minus 5 degree, minus 10 degree, like that. So with the help of this laboratory thermometer, you can not only measure the above 100 degree, you can even measure below 0 degree as well. Okay, so it has got a wide range of values. So you can see here, this is a typical uh, this is how a typical laboratory thermometer looks like. So here a laboratory thermometer comes in two different units. You can even buy a thermometer in Celsius unit. Celsius is also known as centigrade. Okay, so don't confuse children. Always remember this degree Celsius is there, right? Degree C. So this degree C is also known as centigrade. Okay, so in degree Celsius the value differs. So the value will be from minus 30 degree. So you can see here 0. This is 0. That is the freezing point of water. So the freezing point of water is actually 0 degrees Celsius. So from 0, this is below whatever the values, they are in negative value. Okay, so not only minus 10, so even it starts from minus 30 degree. So from where it starts from minus 30, minus 20, minus 10, 0, and up to where it will go. It will go up to 100 degrees Celsius. That is the boiling point of water. The boiling point of water, where the water boils and converts from liquid to vapor state, is the temperature. That temperature is called boiling temperature. So the boiling point of water is 100 degree. So that is there. Okay, so in a normal laboratory thermometer of degree Celsius units, so it starts from minus 30 degree to plus 100 degree Celsius, right? Okay, the same way this laboratory thermometer comes in another unit also. It comes in Fahrenheit as well. Okay, so you can see not only laboratory thermometer, even clinical thermometer also shows values in degree Fahrenheit. So sometimes when you try to keep the thermometer, digital thermometer and all which comes now, if you keep in your mouth, so it will show a value of 98 degree or 101 degree like that. So that range belongs to Fahrenheit. That is not a degree Celsius. So in a Fahrenheit, how can you measure? How can you easily identify? So 0 degree Celsius is equal to 32 degree Fahrenheit. So what is the exact value? 0 degree Celsius is equal to how much? 32 degree Fahrenheit. So a Fahrenheit starts from minus 10 degree Fahrenheit to 220 degree Fahrenheit. So the boiling point for how many Fahrenheit it should reach? It should reach 212 Fahrenheit. So for 212 Fahrenheit is equal to 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's the reason why you can see in a clinical thermometer also 100 degree is nothing but some 39 to 40 degree. Okay, so if your body temperature exceeds beyond 40 degree, then it will be something like 110 degree or 100 degree, above 100 degree. Okay, so usually we use these two common units. Either we use centigrade unit, that is Celsius, or we use Fahrenheit unit. Okay, so even laboratory thermometer also comes with these two units. So it is your choice. You can either use this type of thermometer which shows reading in Celsius scale, or you can use another thermometer which can read you or which can tell you the reading in Fahrenheit scale. Okay, so up to this I hope you guys understood. You should note few things when you measure in different thermometers. There are other thermometers as well, not only laboratory thermometer. Apart from laboratory thermometer, so you can see in this picture, this is another type of thermometer. This thermometer is called maximum minimum thermometer. What is the name of this thermometer? Maximum minimum thermometer. So why this maximum minimum thermometer is used means, so the maximum and minimum temperatures of the previous day reported in weather reports are measured by a thermometer called the maximum minimum thermometer. See, in news channels and all, you used to get updates, right, every day, that today the temperature of a particular region is this much degree Celsius or this much degree Fahrenheit. Tomorrow the sunrise will be more, the temperature will be more. Okay, the weather will be too hot and you may experience more than 100 degree Fahrenheit. Like that they will used to say, and nowadays even in newspapers you can see, and even in your smartphone it will update in the widgets, right? So how these temperatures are measured means, these temperatures, the weather which changes continuously, that temperature is monitored using a special thermometer called maximum minimum thermometer. In those days, the people who used to work, okay, for meteorological department, they used to have this maximum minimum thermometer. They used to fix it in their rooms or labs, so that will exactly tell you the range, okay, the temperature fluctuation which happens, okay, at room temperature. So that it, by seeing that, they will determine, okay, what is the variation in the weather. So whether it will be too hot or it will be rainy or it will be too chill, okay, that and all you can easily determine using maximum minimum thermometer. You cannot determine the weather using a laboratory thermometer or clinical thermometer. Okay, so what are all the different types of thermometer we saw? So we saw clinical thermometer, then we saw laboratory thermometer, and we also discussed maximum minimum thermometer. A simple question: why is laboratory thermometer is not used to measure the body temperature? I hope this question I asked in previous class as well. For your curiosity, okay, this question has been just flipped. In the previous class I asked like why clinical thermometer cannot be used to measure the temperature of different objects. The same way, you cannot use laboratory thermometer to measure the body temperature. Okay, you can ask, reading is there na, from minus 10 degree to 110 degree, why can't we use uh, laboratory thermometer? Like that you can ask. Okay, but there is a flaw in laboratory thermometer. There is a small minute change in laboratory thermometer. So because of that reason, we cannot use laboratory thermometer to measure the body temperature. Okay, now for that I would like to show you a very interactive video which will help you to understand why we cannot use laboratory thermometer to measure the body temperature. Okay, so enjoy watching this video.
Topic: heat. Why is a laboratory thermometer not used to check body temperature? Oh, you have got fever. Why don't you check your body temperature using a thermometer? No, please don't use a laboratory thermometer. You won't be able to get the correct reading. Why don't you try another one? This is called a clinical thermometer. A clinical thermometer is different from a laboratory thermometer. Oh, seems like you have made your choice. A clinical thermometer has a kink. When we check our body temperature, the kink present in it prevents the mercury from falling back down, thus helping the thermometer to hold the temperature recorded by it and giving us an accurate reading. Now, in a laboratory thermometer, this kink is absent. This is because a laboratory thermometer is meant to measure immediate temperature. Hence, after recording our body temperature, until we check it, the mercury will fall, thus not giving us an accurate reading.
So hope you guys understood using this video. So what was the major difference here? In a clinical thermometer, the kink was present. Okay, as I showed in the previous class when I was showing the clinical thermometer. So in the clinical thermometer, the kink was present. So because of that reason, the mercury will not fall suddenly. Even after you measure and you take it out, the thermometer, the mercury will not fall back immediately. So it will remain stable for a few minutes. So it will be easy for you to determine the temperature. Whereas in laboratory thermometer, it is not like that. Immediately once you take out the laboratory thermometer from any object, it will suddenly fall. It will come back to the normal room temperature. So immediately you cannot see the temperature, right? So that's the reason why you cannot use laboratory thermometer to measure the body temperature, because laboratory thermometer is only used to measure the instant temperature of any object. Okay. One more thing you should understand. when I was discussing about the clinical thermometer, when you measure the body temperature of using clinical thermometer, you should keep it little bit tilted, right? You should not keep straight like this in clinical thermometer, whereas in laboratory thermometer you should not keep it tilted, you should keep it straight. Okay, this is the major difference in clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. So here you should kept straight and it should not be tilted, and bulb should be surrounded from all sides by the substance of which the temperature is to be measured. So here the bulb is there right below, so here complete bulb should be filled with the object or with the substance of which you are measuring the temperature. Like for example, if you are measuring the temperature, boiling point of water means the whole bulb at least it should be filled with water. Only half of the bulb and all you should not fill, it will not give you accurate reading. Okay, and the bulb should not touch the surface of the container, and you should also make sure not to touch till the bottom. Okay, you should little bit uplift. Okay, you should not touch the surface because it will even read out the surface temperature. Okay, so make sure to follow these instructions when you are measuring the temperature using laboratory thermometer. Now let's do a quick recap of what we have learned today. We learned that to measure the temperature of different objects like boiling point of water, etc., which thermometer we use? We use laboratory thermometer. And the range of laboratory thermometer is from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. And maximum minimum thermometer is used to measure the weather temperature. So we cannot use laboratory thermometer to measure the weather, whereas to measure the weather, that is the day-to-day climatic changes, so for that reason, for the temperature we use maximum minimum thermometer. Now there is a quick assessment for you, so go through these questions. Number one, why the laboratory thermometer is not used to measure the body temperature? So I hope you guys know this answer. So try to write this answer on your own in your classwork note. Okay, or if you have any doubt regarding this, you can even watch the video again. Okay, so that you will find out the answer of this. Okay, now second question is the range of laboratory thermometer is from dash to dash. So you should write the range from what temperature it begins and what temperature it ends. Okay, next there is a quick overview. So you just have to write few points about the similarities and differences between the laboratory thermometer and the clinical thermometer. Okay, so hope you guys have enjoyed today's session. So with this, I'll wind up today's session. So just don't miss out this homework and assessment part. So this is for you to practice and keep yourself updated. Okay, so try to write the answers on your own and keep it safely. Once the school opens, we'll have a quick go through on whatever you have done. Okay, so thank you children, so have a good day.